All set.
Call to order the 185th meeting of the EPC. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the December 19th?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved. Audit report. All right. Sheree?
Okay. So although we have no resolutions for this meeting, I want to reiterate that we completed 39 audit determination or audit-related determinations last year, and 37 compliance-related determinations, which are listed here. However, we just started 31 audits, which include the Brooklyn Community Board, numbers 1 through 18, the Administration for Children's Services, the Department of Buildings, the Department of Probation, the Human Resources Administration, the Department of Small Business Services, the Department of Mental Health and Mental Hygiene, the Department of Finance, the Taxi and Limousine Commission, the Youth and Community Development Department, the District Attorney of Richmond County, the Borough President of Manhattan, and the Office of Emergency Management, and the City Clerk. So initiation letters went out for these audits earlier this week, and we'll be conducting discrimination complaint investigation procedure audits for these agencies. Judith, you want to give us a compliance monitoring report?
We want to welcome Commissioner Rice, who's just joined us.
Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you.
We're being recorded, that's why she did it.
Okay, good morning.
That's why she's good morning.
Right?
No.
Oh. Okay.
Second agenda.
So the compliance status report for April of 2014, there are six agencies that are being monitored for compliance. The Board of Education Retirement System is on extension, which the extension was granted through February 15th. However, what remains is the Uniform Complaint Investigation Procedure, the General EEO Policy Statement, and the EEO Training Plan. Department of Sanitation has 3 out of 4.
Let me understand that. What remains to be completed are those items they have not yet put in place?
That's correct.
Those policies?
Yes, it's a general policy statement, EEO policy statement from the executive director.
Do we have any anticipation as to when they'll complete that?
I expect that within the next month.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Department of Sanitation, the next 5 have just commenced compliance. So Department of Sanitation has 3 out of 4 corrective actions remaining, those being documentation of the specific organizations that they've used in their recruitment plan to address low percentages of minorities and women in crafts job groups, and a copy of the review of competencies, skills, and abilities listed in job vacancy notices. For the Office of the Mayor, there are 8 corrective actions remaining, which include the overall agency profile, assessment of recruitment practices, a list of recruitment resources used for discretionary positions, structured interview training to be provided by DCAS, facilities accessibility, and basically that's some of that. Department of Homeless Services has one of two recommendations, corrective actions remaining, and that involves the New York State facility. One of their facilities is the New York State facility, and they need assessment for that facility. FISA has 3 of 7 recommendations, corrective actions remaining, which include documentation of organizations. One of the issues with FISA is the e-hire report and finding out how to apply the e-hire report to the requirements for an applicant log. And managerial performance evaluations. And finally, New York City Council has 11 of 12 corrective actions remaining, including formal process for the agency's assessment of the agency's recruitment and hiring procedures, and a recruitment plan and structured interview training. And actually, New York City Council had a very a commendable plan that they provided to new council members with regard to their facilities, making sure that their facilities are accessible.
Can I go back and ask the question about
Sure.
e-hire and the employment law? Since most agencies are going to begin using e-hire, is that going to be a problem for us across the board in terms of getting a law?
No, because we require a tracking system. It doesn't necessarily have to be a log. It just has to be a system that tracks the applicant. Applicant data, demographics, source information, like where the agency recruited from. Source information is included in e-hire, right? Correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So as long as it's a tracking system, we're fine with that.
So e-hire can provide you with the data that we need to be able to audit the agency to be sure that they're following the practices that we believe they have to.
We believe it does. FISA decided that they will find a way from the beginning of e-hire when an applicant inputs their information to have that sorted through to the end at the point of selection. Because these are, right now, it seems that these are separate sections of the e-hire system. So FISA said that they would look into how that can be, how what's in the beginning can be applied towards the end so that it is helpful.
Well, I mean, so somewhere between the two of you, I'm not quite understanding. If e-hire is a tracking system, and FISA wasn't tracking it, or the system has the information, or, I mean, that's my
The
question.
information is in the system. That's the short answer.
And it's just a matter of making it...
I think the long answer, what Judith is trying to say, is a matter of maybe printing it out for purposes of analysis. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. I think that FISA had been maintaining a separate log, and that's where we
Right, but
raised our issue.
we're not speaking about FISA.
I understand. And because there's information that is input at the beginning, that information is not at this time being applied at the end at the point where someone is selected. So the question is, how will it be applied at that point? And basically, it's to facilitate examination of the workforce profile and for the agency to look at their recruitment efforts. So exactly how they maneuver the system will find out.
The data is for record-keeping purposes, like, I'm not understanding.
I'm confused.
What do you mean applying it at the end? At the end of...
At the point of selecting, of interviewing and selecting a candidate, at that point, having all of the information such as the person's demographics, the recruitment source, and the reason for selection and non-selection.
That
Adding that as
information
that.
should be used in the selection.
I'm sorry?
That information should be used in the commission to select the candidate.
No, not to select the candidate, but as a record at that point.
Apparently, what I think I hear is, the data comes in over here, the selection happens over here, and there isn't a transfer from this profile to that profile.
There's not supposed to be a transfer.
But so, if it exists, how do we look at whether or not all we look at is the hire against the balance of all of the other hires? Aren't we concerned about the outreach?
Well, we're concerned about it, but the person that's doing the selection should be concerned about the demographics. They
I
should be
understand
concerned
that,
about-
but how do we get what we want to oversee from FISA or from anybody else that's using eHire? How do we get the information? You at the outset said that as long as the data's collected, you don't care about the mechanism,
Right.
about what it appears in. So it doesn't have to be a log, but you do want the data.
Right.
So the data's captured over here. We're asking for, so you hired Matilda. We want to know that when you were hiring Matilda, you looked at all these other people, and Matilda, it wasn't that you didn't look at others and you didn't part of it, but you selected Matilda for, she was the best of everybody. On the other hand, there was no discrimination here because your outreach went out to everybody who, and you had the demographic profile of others who.
Right, that's what we need to know. At the end of it, what we need to know and what you're looking at is the job and how many people applied for it, where did they recruit, who was finally selected, those things. So is that what you're saying that they're trying to give you at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't know, well, okay, so they're going to figure out a way to provide it with eHire, to provide you with that. Does that become a model of what others should do with eHire?
We have to look at the eHire system because this is new.
That
And
was my
I think it
question.
requires us actually either having a meeting or requesting information about eHire to find out what is in it. And didn't we do that?
Yes, we did get
So-
some of that information when we did the HRA audit, and that's why now eHire also includes the recruitment source. But in terms of whether it is completely sufficient for the type of what we're looking to see that an agency maintains, that remains to be seen. No agency has produced something from eHire that provides us what we are looking.
Okay, so that's what we'll look for. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm back to, once you resolve this with FISA, you then have some
Right, we have
model.
to create, what we do is, we have compliance criteria that we create when we get information like that. So we'll create a criteria of what we'll accept from eHire
Right.
based on, right.
Okay, that was my question.
Okay, an update on, this is old business.
Wait, can I get, before that, can you guys just confirm that the March 31st, 2014 date up top, is that accurate on the agenda, or should it be April 3rd?
Yeah, it should be April.
Okay.
I think that's when the agenda was.
Great.
So old business, even though Commissioner Reese assisted us in getting help from DeWitt to secure a vendor for this office audit management software, we're still in the procurement process, and because the software costs more than $20,000, DCAS has to purchase it for us. So that created an additional 4 months. And you want to explain a little bit about what happened?
Sure. So, in that.
We didn't know that before?
The decaf, we never made a purchase that large.
Okay, got it.
Right.
So we just thought that we could,
Because you had the money.
purchase the software, but since decaf has to purchase it, we have to go through an extra RFP process because what DeWitt went through, although it was similar to an RFP process, I guess they don't consider it a true RFP process, even though they had 3 vendors present a solution, et cetera.
Okay.
So it's gonna add about 4 additional months onto the whole process.
And we wonder why people charge more and don't want to do business with the city. Okay.
So anyway, do you wanna explain?
Well, no, you covered it, but,
So when are you issuing the RFP?
Oh, that's already been done, that's being handled by
DCAS handling it.
DCAS.
Do we believe that the person that you selected will respond to the RFP?
What do you mean?
They should.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they would have to if they wanna be considered,
Right. Okay.
so.
Why wouldn't they? For just the reason I said before. You just decide that it's too much work and you don't want to do it.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe they will, but in terms of the procurement roles of the city of New York, we have to follow the very specific guidelines, and apparently, we did not realize that those guidelines had not been followed. That although DeWitt did some process to vet the various vendors and their understanding of what we need and of the capabilities of the city, they made a particular selection. They made a presentation to us of various vendors. We made a selection, and but at the point where we thought we could complete the procurement, that's when it became clear that certain steps had not been followed. So
Since
they
I
should be
always
followed.
believe in a doomsday question, what happens, the 2 questions. One is we've already decided they're going to apply, so that's putting that aside. What if 2 others apply and Phoenix?
We're gonna pick the vendor with the best solution for us.
Okay. Whoever it is.
Yeah. So,
Makes sense. Where are they publishing it? Where did they publish it?
I'm sorry, I don't recall her at this moment.
we can probably get it from you.
Yeah, I can find it.
Okay.
I have this information.
So just to finish on your timeline, so you've been delayed by 4 months. You now are essentially going through the process again. There will be 3 vendors or whatever number of vendors that will respond. Someone will have to vet them, and then you'll have to make a selection. So you are 6 months to a year away.
Probably right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But your money is still safe.
Well, what I had to do was request from OMB that they consider this a risk and transfer the money, if they can, to the 2015 fiscal year, the budget. I haven't gotten a confirmation that that's going to happen. So, but
So your money said
but
risk.
it is considered as a risk, so they know what the problem is. And
So when will they let us, when are they gonna let us know? Will they let us know?
I don't know if they will let us know. I just know that they know it's a risk. Okay, any more new business?
Can I move to adjourn?
I second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? So moved.